Hi everybody, my name is Robin and welcome to my channel, Bird's Eye Stitches. This is a channel about cross stitch, so if you are here, then welcome, and I hope you are here because you have a love of cross stitch. If you are returning, then welcome back. I am happy you are here, and I am happy that you are just a part of this cross stitch community that I have learned to love just as much as I love the hobby itself. So whether you are returning or brand new, then welcome, happy to have you, glad you're here today. So with that said, I have all kinds of stuff to go over today. Last weekend was 24 hours of cross stitch, so I have a little bit of recap from that. I have finishes to show, new starts from that, all the 24-hour of cross stitch things. Today is May 2nd, which means that we are 2 days into Mania, and I am participating in Mania this year. This is my first year doing Mania, which is super exciting, and because, you know, go big or go home, first year, 20 starts, why not? So you will be seeing a lot of new starts pretty much on all of the videos for this entire month. So be ready for that. But yeah, new starts, finishes, one item to show you from haul because I picked up a new cross stitch gadget. Well, new to me. I mean, they've been around. You all have probably been using them, but I just acquired it. I feel like it's life-changing in my stitchy world, so I'll show that to you later. But yeah, we will get right to it. Last week, a couple of you guys were in the comments asking me about my weed test. I had mentioned that I was doing some tests with vinegar and boiling water and that kind of thing in my jungle of weeds that I have going on in my backyard, and some of you were asking for updates on that. I will give you an update maybe at my next video or the one after that. It just depends. I'm going to give it a little bit of time to see if the weeds come back, because I mean, at the end of the day, all of them, everything killed the weeds. Not only that, but I live in Arizona and it is literally over 100 degrees already. So, you know, the sun is also doing that. So it's not exactly like a true scientific test going on, but still happy to share my results. So we'll see what happens. I can say that the section that I just poured the boiling hot water on, I don't think that really did anything at all. In fact, the little bit of weeds that I kind of left there still seem to be growing and living. I don't know how you live through that, but they did. So I don't know that I recommend the boiling water weed reduction plan, but it was worth trying. So I will give an update on that if I get one. I also had one friend who I've met through Flosstube and through Facebook, and she put up a comment about my haul last week. I had picked up Russian Windows by Owl Forest Embroidery. She had made a comment that she was looking at getting that piece as well, and mentioned maybe doing a stitch along at some point in the future. So, you know, you really don't have to twist my arm to get me to do a sal. So this is going to be something that will be a sal in the future. I mean, not right now because it's Mania, but if any of you guys are open to doing a sal and would like to pick this guy up, let me know and we can work on an official month to start it. I am literally planning into 2021 at this point. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous because of all of the great patterns I've picked up lately, and I want to start them all. So I'm literally looking at calendars going, I'll do this month and this month, and I'm literally in 2021. So that doesn't mean this would have to be 2021, but if any of you guys would be interested in stitching this, just leave me a comment, let me know, and we can pick a day. So this was Russian Windows, Owl Forest Embroidery. I picked it up off of 1884 Stitchery. I don't know if there's any more there. I'll take a look and I'll link it below, but I know you can still find this guy around. So let me know if you would be interested in joining in on a sal for that piece. maybe in 2021, maybe in 2020, not in May. That's all I know, not in May. All right, last weekend was 24 hours of cross stitch. I did not make the full 24 hours. Wah, wah. Yeah, last 24 hours of cross stitch, I totally made it. This time I did 20 hours. So I think that the biggest hurdle that I faced is that on Friday, I only stitched a few hours. So I didn't have that like front loading of time. And I did stay up with my daughter, but I only made it till midnight. So, you know, that took out quite a bit of time as well. But I had fun. I got all kinds of stuff accomplished. My daughter and we did the marathon of Toddlers and Tiaras. We watched, I wrote them down here. We watched Say Yes to the Dress. So we were apparently in a TLC, you know, 11-year-old friendly reality TV mode. So you really have to be kind of careful when your kid is only 11, because some of the reality TV is appropriate and some of it not so much. So yeah, so we kind of stuck to Toddlers and Tiaras and Say Yes to the Dress. And then I found a new show. It was called Hidden Potential. It was on HGTV, which is normally not really my jam. I'm not really a HGTV person, but this lady, I liked her. She took houses that are kind of like mine, you know, very, very cookie cutter, very suburban subdivision, and made them look not cookie cutter. So, you know, and it was stuff that seemed like you could actually accomplish it in an afternoon. So that was fun. And then of course, you know, Gilmore Girls. That's usually what I end up watching when I'm trying to fill the time. If it's not Flosstube, it's Gilmore Girls. So that was the TV that I watched, stitching. While I was watching TV, I was stitching. So I got 2 finishes. I will show you those first. The first one, I kind of feel bad even really counting as a 24-hour cross stitch finish, because as you know, if you saw last week's video, I was practically done with it before, but I mean, officially it did get finished during 24 hours of cross stitch. So finish number 1 is Walkin' on Sunshine. It is by Lulu Stitches. This was what the pattern looked like. I stitched it in all DMC for the most part, called for colors. I was pulling from stash, so I did change maybe 1 or 2 flosses. For the most part, all called for. This is on Babbling Brook, a hand-dyed 28 count linen by Cross Stitch Express. This is the finished piece. Looks like this. Now, the color that I ended up changing, so in the original piece, this flower is blue on the inside, and on mine, it's more of a blue purple. I don't know, it's a really pretty DMC variegated floss that goes blue, purple, gray, and apparently I did all my gray in this little bloop here, but I really like it, and it actually is similar to the original, sort of, kind of. I don't know, I love it. Finished piece, looks like this. How I'm going to fully finish it, I have no earthly idea still. It's on a giant piece of fabric that I can cut down, but I love it. I loved everything about stitching this. You all know I love the yellows. The sunshine is just, I mean, his sunglasses and his little smirky smile are fantastic. Really nice big blocks of color, so it was a very quick stitch. Great pattern. Great pattern. I would stitch this again. I mean, it was that much fun. I won't stitch it again right away because I have a million other things to stitch, but you know it's good if you would actually say you would stitch something more than once. So finish number 1. Finish number 2 was Winter Sheep by Thistles. So this one, I ended up not stitching the entire pattern because it would not fit in the area that I needed it to fit in for the frame. So there's some bells in this frame. This isn't officially fully finished because there's a couple things that I still want to add to this piece, but I need to wait until shops open up so I can actually go in and really see the charms and things like that. But this is winter sheep. Sorry about the glare. Obviously, there's not enough sheep for it to spell winter sheep, and I did not put the letters in the blocks because clearly it doesn't say winter sheep. But I have an idea for these guys, and what I would like to do is to get like presents, like a present charm to go on top of this guy here, and then a little charm to go on this one and this one. And then I think I'm going to, once I see the charms and put them on there, I would like to take, see how these ornaments have kind of the striping going on? I think I'm going to take some Krynic or some other colored floss and just do a similar design on the presents. But I want to get the charms in there first and see how that looks before I start adding anything else. But there will be a taller charm present here, littler guys here, and then it is to be determined on the rest of the blocks. But I very loosely placed it in this frame just so I could kind of show it and get a visual of where I was at. This frame I picked up at Michael's last year or the year before. It's a shadow box. It's got some fun jingle bells. So that's exciting. But I picked it up because I really like the color. This is going to be a gift for a family member. So I think that the color will really match her house. And yeah, once the shops open back up, I'll be doing some online searching and going into my LNS, obviously when it gets a little bit closer to Christmas, when they'll really have those charms. But this is almost finished, like 95%. And I think it turned out really nice. So winter sheep, calling that one a finish, just because it's as finished as I can get it for right now. So 2 finishes, which means I could do a new start. So my new start I was really excited about, and this was not a Mania start. This was just, I wanted to finish 2 items, and if I did, then I was going to start something new on 24 Hours of Cross Stitch. I did a little bit of shopping after watching a Flosstube video. I saw this chart. It is called Kerglauf by Bendy Stitchy. Looks like this. Saw this on a video, had to have it. I want to put it in my bathroom, my guest bathroom. Went straight on to Etsy and picked it up. So, went on Etsy, picked up the chart. The day that it arrived in the mail, I actually got some Stitchy Kindness mail from my friend Carolyn, Seazook Stitch. She had sent me a piece of fabric, and I didn't realize I was getting this piece of fabric, but it arrived at the exact same day as this pattern. And it turns out it was a perfect, like almost a dupe of this fabric. So, tiny story behind the fabric that I got in the mail. Carolyn had received a grab bag from Be Stitch Me on Facebook, and this is one of the fabrics that she got in it, and we were talking about it and saying how it kind of resembled a bruise a little bit, so this fabric is now named the bruise fabric. Anyway, she mailed me a small piece of the bruise fabric, and because it arrived the same day as this, I laid it out and went, it's fate. Fate says I have to start this, so I started this for my 24 Hours of Cross Stitch to celebrate the fact that I had 2 finishes. Well, a finish and a 95% finish. We'll go with that. So, all of that said, here is the new start. Don't know how much of this is going to show. Let's see. It's showing a little bit. But the bathtub here, this is all in white. So it's white on this light yellow, but it's all going to be outlined in different colors, so I'm still good with that. I'm doing mostly called for colors. I'm using DMC. There was a couple colors that I did not have on hand in my stash, so I'm substituting them out. But as I continue stitching and really, make those final pulls, I'll list them once I get it finished. But I got through the white part of the bathtub and just a teeny tiny little bit of bathtub outline. Again, this is on a piece of I have no idea what the count is. Fabric from Stitch Me, because it was a grab bag and it was a gift. And one day it's going to look like this. If you guys have not seen this pattern, what it says is, it says Kerglauf. It is a noun. It says, the shock felt in bathing when one first plunges into cold water. And there's a little story in here about how this came to be. Michelle Bendy Stitchy, she talks all about it in her Flosstube video. So if you haven't seen that one, go watch this guy. You may or may not end up purchasing the chart just like I did. It was just different. And look at this guy's face. I mean, look at him. See if that'll focus. Yep. It's on a yellow fabric, yellow, blue, teals. Funny looking guy in a bathtub. It's going in the guest bathroom. 100%. So that was my 24-hour of cross stitch new start, and I'm really enjoying stitching it. In fact, this is kind of the one that I'm going to keep picking up in between my Quaker, in between my Mania Starts. So I don't know, maybe there'll be like 5 stitches done a week, but hey, that's 5 stitches. It's progress. All right, the last thing that I've been working on besides my Mania new start, of course, is spring Quaker. Here you go, seen it a million times, just from me, Rosewood Manor, called for everything. I got quite not really a lot of progress, but I got through one more motif, so that's exciting. Here is where we are at. Need to get the words done. This is the motif that I got through this last week. There's a tiny bit more that's going to happen over on this side, but it's on the next page. There's also a couple little dots here and there, but they're on another page as well. So I will probably do those at the very, very end before I swap pages, just so I don't forget about them. I do have an area though right in here that I'm going to actually have to frog. I miscounted. The things are running together. It's going to drive me batty, but that is where we are at. This one is still reminding me of a grandma's couch, but that is literally, like, that is the charm behind this for me. The colors are pretty. I actually am really enjoying the Valdani floss, and it just reminds me of a tapestry. I don't know. I love it. Love it, love it. So this one is going to remain on my stand downstairs. So anytime that I'm watching TV or we're doing movie night, things like that, this is usually my go-to, which is probably why I had to do some frogging because, well, my daughter and I were watching a scary movie last night. She wanted to watch The Shining. She has been big into trying to watch scary movies. So we watched The Shining, and I think I was more into it than she was. And it was during The Shining that I made this error. So yeah, I blame Stephen King for that one. But I will take it out tonight, and that way it will be there and ready for future stitching throughout the week. All right, that was a 24-hour of cross stitch plus spring Quaker wrap up. That leads into the land of Mania. So I mentioned I'm doing 20 new starts for Mania. Yesterday was the first, so yesterday was new start number 1. All of my days off, I will be doing new starts. Obviously, not just my days off, but over the weekends are the big new start days. You know, making sure that I'm doing my starts, doing the journaling, prepping for the days that I go to work because I don't want to come home and run out of steam. So yeah, weekends get busy. But yesterday was a fantastic new start that I was very excited about. I've just been kind of closing my eyes, doing one of these things and pulling something out of my Mania bucket. And this is what I pulled out. This is Bluebird Rhapsody Artful Offerings. Looks like this. I am stitching this on a piece of 32 count Belfast linen. The color is light lime. I have no idea who made it, but it did come from the attic. It didn't have a didn't have a name on it from that. But we got to here. Let's see if I can get this color to show through a little bit. That's fairly true. Obviously, you guys have all seen this grime guard before. It's yellow. This is it's a sherbet green. I mean, there's really no better explanation other than sherbet green. And I actually got this pattern because I was at the attic, my local LNS. I saw this fabric and I fell in love with the fabric. So I bought the fabric and then I walked around the store trying to figure out what the hey am I gonna stitch on this sherbet green fabric. So I stumbled across this. It had birds, green fabric. It came home with me, both of them together, obviously. This is where we're at. So I am doing some substitutions because again, I tried to pull as much for Mania from the stash as I possibly could. And the tree bark here, I'm actually using DMC 4000, which I'm really, really enjoying. I'll see if I can get this to zoom in so you can see the color. I don't know if that's coming through just because of the lighting, but if you're following me on Instagram, I will have some good photos of that up later on today. But it is a really, really pretty variation. It goes from a deep brown to almost a blue, like a bluish brown, to a lighter brown. So it's gonna be perfect for the tree. I really, really like this pattern, but I did not like the flat brown of the tree. I mean, it was very monotoned for such a flat, to me, it made the tree look like it was flat. So I really wanted to find some type of an over-dyed floss. I don't have very many over-dyed flosses in my collection yet. So I do have DMC variations though. So I pulled that one. It is the perfect pick for this particular tree. So I was really happy with that. And yeah, I'll put some close-up pictures on Instagram because I haven't really seen it and I really like it. So that's how far I got. I love my little Bewitched needle minder. It's super cute. I really want to keep this out. This is going to be the hardest part of Mania because I have so many pieces that I have been wanting to start for a long time that I am, obviously now starting, that to put it away before I meet whatever chunk goal I want to naturally set for the piece is really hard. Like for me, normally if I was stitching this piece, I would continue to stitch this until I had the entire tree bark done. Like that would be my first goal. I have this thing about stitching in goals. It's not really timed. It's not number of days. It's chunks on the piece, which is why I think it's really hard for me to get into my HAID because that's pretty much impossible because it takes me a month to do each thing. But yeah, normally I would continue to stitch this until the entire tree, at least all of the bark, was done. And then it would be, one bird or I don't know, whatever it would be. But for Mania, you have to set it aside so you can move on to the next. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it to the side and move on to the next. Since today is the 2nd, I have to lean over just to set everything down because I've got stuff all over. But since today is the 2nd, I will move right into plans because I haven't started my Mania piece for today just yet. But I did do the eyes closed pull, so I know what it's going to be. What it will be is Aries by Satsuma Street. The original looks like this. Mine will look nothing like that. I am using the called for DMC. However, this one will be on a piece of 16 count Ada by Picture This Plus. The color is Mercedes. It's a blue. Looks like this. So something along these lines. I think I've told this story before, but I own all of the astrological signs from the Satsuma Street collection. and I used to be a member of the Picture This Plus Fabric of the Month Club many moons ago. So I had probably 14, I think, random, you know, this size pieces of fabric. And so I decided, instead of doing them all in black, I was going to do each of them on a different color of the 16 count Aida, and then finish them, I don't know, a quilt. I'm not gonna make a quilt. I cannot even get my sewing machine out to do the hems on my fabric, so no. But my mother-in-law, she is an actual quilter, and she could do something amazing with it. Or maybe teach me. I don't know. I mean, there's 12 of these, so that's like a year out. All I have planned for now is Aries on this fabric, so it will totally change the look of it. That is going to be started today for Mania piece number 2. Beyond that, the only other plan I have, I failed miserably in working on HOCS, which was the piece that I was working on the 40 count gauze. I have not put HOCS away, so it's kind of looming, lingering back there. May still pull it out, we will have to see. But for the most part, plans are Mania. You know, almost every night is a new start. Once I get a little chunk of that new start done, I may pick up the Quaker, I may pick up HOCS just to kind of keep some momentum going on my older pieces. But Mania is pretty much my biggest plans. So tonight, this is what I will be working on. All right, that is all I have for stitching updates. We are 26 minutes in, so pretty good amount for a week, you know, two finishes and 2 starts. I'll take that. I like it. The only other thing I had a little tiny piece of haul. A friend of mine turned me on to the Facebook group Lela Mae Designs, and again, you all know them, I'm sure, and love them. I had been under a rock, so I had never heard of them. And I had never heard of this idea of using a metal board to hold your pattern and such. I mean, the idea literally never occurred to me. So a friend of mine was telling me about it. My friend Andrea was saying she uses them and loves them, and put me on this Facebook group. I got one, and it's amazing. I have it here. Let's see how we can properly show this. Okay, this is what I got. I'm gonna have to scoot back just to really show this to you. But how genius is this? It is a piece of metal that has been painted. I got the color lavender, and it is beautiful. But a piece of metal, so you can use all of your beautiful needle minders to, obviously I had a pattern on here. I took it down so I wasn't showing my pattern to the world, but my pattern was here, and then down below I had a needle minder here that was holding on the floss colors, so I had that here. I could even put my floss card with another needle minder here if I wanted to. Then I have this ginormous needle minder that I got years ago that I love because he's super pretty, but it's ridiculously heavy. Like I am not comfortable putting this on my piece, even if I attach it to my grime guard. It's just so heavy that it kind of pulls it down. So it's just been a magnet in my stitch room, but it is absolutely perfect to go on this board and hold these super cute little scissors that I got. These scissors have birds on them. You see that? I also got these from the same Facebook group. That's going to be a dangerous group for me. But the scissors stick just like that. Beautiful. Then, to top it off, to make it all-encompassing, all-in-one, there is this adorable little bag, and it attaches with a magnet, so I could put it anywhere. I could use it to hold my pattern down. I just stuck it there. But this little bag is where I put all of my orts. So I literally have my entire Stitchy, my whole stitch table is now off the table and on this magnetic board. So I'm in love with that idea. The way that I stitch, I stitch in a chair, and I have an upstairs and a downstairs setup. So my downstairs setup, I have my Lowry stand, which was amazing. In fact, I am actually debating on getting a second Lowry stand for upstairs. Now, I'm not fully sold on this idea because they are very expensive. And I know it seems like it would be really easy to cart the Lowry stand from upstairs to downstairs and back and forth. But I do have some medical issues. I have RA and some other junk that flares up, and to hold even a Q-snap in my hands, the amount of swelling that comes in from that, it's not worth it. So using the Lowry stand or some type of a stand that holds it for me, so I don't have to put that in my hand, it makes it so I can stitch comfortably, and I don't want to have to mess with carting the things around. So I'm actively looking for another type of stand setup for in my stitch room. But until then, I cart my Lowry back and forth, and I have now this nice metal stand here that I set it up. I have a tall table, so I have that kind of at eye level, and now I don't have to go back and forth pulling things from drawers or having things laying on the table to where they could get lost or fall off. Plus, I have a thing with the clutter and this metal beautiful thing. Keeps everything all in one spot, and it looks pretty and it looks uncluttered, and for my brain, it's a win. So yeah, I will be picking up another one of these. So I have one upstairs, one downstairs. It's fabulous. I will put a link to the Lela Mae Facebook group in the description, just in case any of you guys have not seen it or heard about it, because I know you can buy the boards other places, just like regular, non-pretty ones. But if you're gonna get it, I mean, might as well get a foo-foo one, I feel. So, and this one was beautiful. So, okay, that's all I have. A little bit of haul. Y'all know my plans. I will be back on next weekend. I am loving all of the Mania, quick update videos. I don't think I have it in me to do a daily video maybe next year, but I'm really enjoying all of you guys who are doing it. So if you are doing a daily video, let me know, just in case I'm not, for some reason, if just in case I'm not subscribed to your channel, please let me know in the comments so I can subscribe, because I am enjoying watching those quick updates. So happy stitching, everybody. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week. Bye.